Hey, Neho, this is JUNiTED here. I'm apologize if this video turns out to come late, but at least I'm here. Today I want to try to do another Reddit video, and this is going to be a Reddit Stories one, and this is going to be r/PROREVENGE Entitled Parent Edition, because you of course know Entitled Parents. You read r/Entitled Parents, but don't you think that these entitled parents should get what they deserve? Well, that's why I'm here. I tried to search a lot for these r/PROREVENGE Entitled Parent Edition or Karen or something, because so then I can see the Karen or entitled parents get what they deserve, and it's just a sweet, sweet justice. So we're gonna do it here. r/PROREVENGE Entitled Parent Edition, or Featured Entitled Parent. Here we go. This first one is posted by T. Durante Tech. Entitled Parents steals from a student fund, gets sued over corruption. Hello lads, I wanted to share a story with you. I'm a 23-year-old university student in Slovakia, so please keep in mind English is my third language. This story evolves around our prom night and our funds, 2014 to 2015. In my secondary school of business, Commercial Academy, we used to pay €50 into the fund each year to save up for the prom. We had 29 students and accumulated €5,800 over the period of 4 years. The last year, we had to appoint a parent who will take care of the finances, managing the account, paying for the things we need, handling the alcohol, etc. Unfortunately, EM, which stands for Entitled Mother, nominated herself. Other parents were like, I don't want to do that. This is where the story begins. Entitled Mother was also a mayor in the small village I live in. My school is only about 5 minutes drive from my house to my school in a town nearby. Hold up. She is a mayor. An entitled mother is a mayor. Oh, this is going to be great. I had also been a really good friend with her son, John, when we were younger. John changed and became unbelievably spoiled over the years. When we entered our new school, he started rubbing his high life and how rich he is in everybody's face. Standard rich, spoiled a-hole. He was the first to get his new car, always the new iPhone, going on expensive vacations, etc. Simply, nobody could be better or richer than him. As we came close to the prom night, we quickly find our funds are almost drained out. The girls in our class were really shocked. They had planned the prom to the smallest detail with every cent put to use. We even had to end with a €600 at the end of the prom. Suddenly, we had last €50 in the bank account. Back then, we didn't really care. Entitled Mother just took more money than she should, and she would return it later. We asked Entitled Mother where she spent the money. She just replied, I had spent it where you told me to. The rest I will put back. I didn't believe a single word, but since it was the night before the prom, we didn't care. The prom was nice. We had lots of fun, inviting parents and teachers alike with the best possible food and alcohol for the evening. The next day, we went over to our account and found we were actually €600 in debt. What the heck just happened? We had checked the entitled mother. She gave €200 to the photographer, paid him even €200 for the job well done. Really stupid. And even €200 to get Blu-ray discs instead of regular DVDs or CDs. We bought her BS. For a time, we called the photographer LO, and behold, he only received €200. Question was, where did the rest of the money ended up? You guessed it, right in entitled mother's pocket. It was not only that, a couple of €100 here and €100 there, and you get the picture. We estimated that out of a €5,800 we have originally had, she borrowed €1,200. We told our class teacher and our parents about that. They were all furious at her. Yes, come on. She was asked to present cash register receipts to see where the money went. She was red the whole day as she was trying to falsify the receipts. Eventually, nobody bought into her lies anymore. She was asked multiple times to cover the losses, but she had always found an excuse. Couldn't press charges as the fund was rather voluntary. We had no official documents, plus we gave her all the info how to withdraw the money into the credit card. Eventually, our graduation came along, maturita in Slovakia. We had no more money to make a small feast for the teachers before the graduation. as we would never see each other again. Some of the parents volunteered to bake or cook something for the teachers. The entitled mother came as well, and she even had to encourage to eat from the tables our parents voluntarily made, free of cost. She was even asked to stay outside and was not allowed to enter until she pays her debt. A few days later, she get a FB notification from John, and boy, the audacity. If everyone in the class would give €20 more, we would never cover the expenses. Suddenly, a rich brat turns into a choosing beggar. Oh, that is featuring another Reddit post? I told him no. He had a party in the evening since it was his birthday, so I went there. I handed him a bottle of Jack Daniels because he gave it to me on my birthday, saying I could never afford it myself, and I told him, "We're done. I'm not your friend." Friendship breaker. I couldn't let it slide. Her husband had covered the expenses eventually, but it wasn't good enough. She stole from her son and from his classmates. From what I know, she's a fraud, tax evasion, accountancy fraud, falsifying documents, and even extortion. What we did is, we rounded what evidence we had on her for stealing from our fund, and we handed all to the prosecutor, who was investigating her case, working on her corruption charges at that time. It would give a great profile of the person who steals from her son. The trial was delayed several times due to her knowing some people. But we eventually put her under so much stress, she couldn't even think straight. We sometimes wrote messages on her Facebook page asking for her confession to the police and even sending emails to her detailing her scam. After a while, she was making even bigger mistakes. She was trying to avoid this trial as much as possible. She wouldn't want to be confronted by stealing from a prom fund from her son. Her actions got to her fast. There are still ongoing corruption investigations, 3 I know of, as well as abuse of powers as a public official. There was also a warrant to arrest her. Don't know if they really did. Since the last trial of another scam, she even had to pawn her house, sell her car, even her son's motorcycle. She's now in hiding. John didn't make it far either. As a spoiled brat, he was unable to find a steady job. Had like 8 jobs in 2 years and dropped out of college after 1 winter semester. Rumors have it he deals in pot nowadays. The only person I pity is entitled mother's husband, John's father. He was the only actual nice guy in their family, even stood up for me once in primary school. Entitled mother didn't want to pay money she borrowed from a bunch of other people on his name. So she made him announce bankruptcy and possible insanity. To this day, he's still married to her as far as I know. As I remember him, he once told me, family is the most important thing a man can look up to make him feel proud, to feel like you are a part of something. Now I feel like he has nowhere else to go but to stay with her. Long story short, entitled mother steals money from our fund, we put the pressure on her and give up evidence in court to show what B she's on the court. Entitled mother tries to avoid everybody, and thus it fails. Dang, dang, dang. You call yourself a mayor and you do that? I mean, how did you become mayor in the first place? This is unbelievable. The next one is from I Read Reddit XD. An entitled parent steals my phone. I steal her love life a year later. Just for context, I recently made this Reddit account to number 1, post entitled parents, and here number 2, comment on posts, and 3, post this juicy story. P.S. I'm on mobile, so sorry for the format and spelling errors. Also, I'll be using entitled parent abbreviations like EP for entitled parent or EK for entitled kid. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so for context, I used to work at Walmart. I brought my phone every day to work so I could watch some juicy YouTube during my breaks. So one day I came to work and started working as a cashier at a checkout area. I'd been doing well until 10 minutes before my break. An entitled parent shows up and starts to pull in my checkout. No big deal, right? Very big deal. She set her items on the conveyor belt and I started scanning them. I noticed her kid was crying, so I handed him a pack of stickers to look at and accidentally dropped my phone. By this time, entitled parent had paid and was about to leave before I dropped my phone. She quickly swiped my Samsung Galaxy S8 plus the case, swapped it for a flip phone and made a mad dash for the exit. I never saw that phone again until a week ago. By the time I was working at the steakhouse that rhymes with Bogan's Steakhouse as a waiter. A customer came in wearing a hat and a coat. This wasn't unusual for me as it was raining heavily outside. I seated her and her son. I asked them if they wanted to drink or to start their order with an appetizer. As soon as the entitled mother spoke, I had Vietnam flashbacks. I decided to wait and see if it was actually her. Sure enough, after I got their order, I saw her pull out my phone. It had the exact same case and everything. I brought them their drinks, set them down, and waited there for her to put my phone down for a second. She finally did, and I quickly swiped it and ran away of the restaurant. I brought them their drinks, set them down, and waited there for her to put my phone down for a second. She finally did, and I quickly swiped it and ran out of the restaurant with my uniform still on out in the rain. I hid inside the Panda Express nearby, and I called an Uber. I turned on my phone and saw there was no puzzle password, so I was in the clear. I got an Uber, got home, called a contact named Husband, and proceeded to tell him about everything. He was apologetic and told me she had stolen stuff before and he was on the verge of divorce with her. We talked a little more and hung up. I soon looked at her text from my phone to her husband's and saw she was an anti-vaxxer. I have no idea what it is. And that the husband got the kid vaccinated without her knowing. I deleted the text after reading them. People like this make me sick. But at the end of the day, I got my phone back and got some awesome Reddit posts. Ever mysterious with dialogue, me. Boy, you think you can get away, but it will hit you someday. Delinquents like you never prosper. The next one is by Admiral Bismarck. Abusive mom is ruined and wanted. So, not sure if this belongs here or in the Karma subreddit, but as a long-time lurker, I felt comfortable enough to tell my story here. It's a rough story to start, so I'll just go chronologically. The first example of how evil she was my older brother told me. Back when I was really young, my dad was in the army and managed to score some leave, vacation time. From Desert Storm to surprise my mom for her anniversary. When he knocked on the door, all my mom said was, "Why aren't you dead? I need the money." Her new beau then started backing out of the garage in my dad's Mustang Cobra. He got revenge, but that's a story for later if you guys want. The divorce was pretty much what you expect. Mom got custody of me, my dad later tricked her with some money and got me for a visit, then filed for custody since my mom had warrants out for her arrest. A few years later, my dad remarried to your typical evil stepmother who doted on her daughters and hates her stepson. For example, for Easter, my stepsisters got huge baskets of candy and chocolates and a couple of toys, etc. I got an old soup can with my name painted on it poorly that I could use for pencils. Oh my gosh. This witch managed to talk my dad into sending back to my mom. And here the story begins in earnest. Where my mom was living was an old 2-bedroom, 1 bathhouse. My sisters shared 1 room, my mom and stepdad shared another, my brother got the whole basement, I got a room so small I could touch the fingertip to fingertip each wall. And it was double that long. I had a curtain instead of a door. Wait, so is there no door? I got nothing. I hated life there. It was one of the only few white kids at school. So I got beat up a lot for being white. It was low on income area in Michigan. So I was the one who always had to shovel, rake, mow, and then my mom would rent me out to the neighbors and they all just paid her. I did all the chores and was grounded until she felt like ungrounding me. I basically sat on my bed for 6 years anytime I was not in school, cleaning, or making her money. I learned later this year, but my mom was extorting money from my dad. She would demand $3,000 for a school photo, and he willingly paid $700 a month in child support. Even though there was no need to, he worked in the oil fields business after he retired on a corporate board. I apologize if I breathe so much. She would make stuff up like, "Our car broke," etc. and demanded money. My dad had to fork over $12,000 for me to go visit him a week. He couldn't take me in at the time. He wasn't home enough, lots of travel, and he was single. But I found out he was sending me Christmas and birthday gifts every year. and I later found out from my brother she pawned them all. He bought me a brand new color Game Boy, which was promptly taken away because I was grounded. She pawned that too. She would often hit me for stupid reasons. Like, I once put the dishes away a bit damp, or if I managed to get a chocolate milk from school cafeteria. Once I got fed up and pushed her, she called the police and he chided me. In short, it was hell. Oh dang. Meanwhile, my sister got upgraded to a private school and lots of amazing toys. She took custody of my grandfather who had MS from the waist down and couldn't even use the bathroom by himself. She got power of attorney and took all of his money and blew it, as well as taking half his pain meds like Visodin, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and giving them to my brother to sell. This will be important later. Kinda. Now for the revenge part. Ooh. This is going to be a bit long, so I apologize in advance. In my junior year of high school, I got to work in the library. My teachers were amazing and supportive and knew my situation. I got my dad's email and we started planning. He figured once I finished high school, he would personally come up and get me. Finally, when my mom decided to have a graduation party for me, complete with inviting all of her friends and none of the like, 2 people I could call a friend. A couple days before my graduation ceremony. About 2 hours before the party was going to start, my dad pulls up. I invite him in, and he looks around, looks confused. He leans in and asks me, "Where is she?" I point. She was right in front of him, lying on the couch. He screwed up his face and said he'd wait in the car. While I was gathering all my stuff in a single garbage bag, my mom finally realized who this stranger was and lost it. She tried everything from bribing me with NASCAR tickets, I hate NASCAR, she liked it but I knew she didn't have any, to physically obstructing me. She had pulled out all the stops for this party, sending a couple of thousands of lots of time cooking, making me cook. I get outside, throw my stuff in the truck, and we take off. Side story, we get halfway down the street and my dad has to pull over. He laughs uncontrollably for a while. I ask his "what's up?" and in his Texan accent says, "Boy, when I get a kid, I always wanted to marry a movie star. I just didn't think it's the Jabba the Hutt." Sorry if my Texan accent doesn't sound right. I'm not American, so I apologize. Evidently, they didn't recognize each other at first. She put on a lot of weight after they were divorced. We get to his place, and it starts. I get updates from my sister-in-law. The party was effed. She was humiliated. She didn't even have me. My dad stopped sending money. They had months worth of unpayable bills. She had to pawn her jewelry, pull my sisters out of the private school and back into public school, sell one of the cars she had. Soon she started calling for money, claiming someone stole the mail all the time so they couldn't pay their bills and needed money to replace the mailbox so they wouldn't steal it anymore. It was refreshing knowing I was free and I could say no with no repercussions. I was happy to live and let live. I vowed to leave her be and let her sink or swim by her own hand. I was elated to be free and had no desire to look back at that part of my life. But she wasn't done with me. I decided to follow my dad's example and join the service. I decided the Navy was the place for me. My job required a top secret clearance, so they do a very thorough background check, to include a credit check. Turns out I was delinquent in mortgage payments, I was receiving Social Security, and I owed a power company a lot of money among their credit card debts. That bee stole my identity and ran me into debt since she couldn't get any more money. I knew about identity theft. It just never occurred to me that a parent has everything they need to do so. This couldn't stand. After I finished basic training in my technical school, I spoke to my supervisor. Chief was awesome. She managed to wrangle me a temporary assignment to a recruiting station in my old town where my mom lived so the Navy would buy me plane tickets. My plane tickets. I spoke to the police and filed a report. One by one, I managed to clear most of the debts from me and sent all the debts collectors after her. Then I made a visit to my Social Security office. I was in uniform at the time and spoke to a clerk about how I was somehow getting payments when I never got anything. She looks up the account and boom, my mom was there. She claimed I was permanently mangled and disabled in an accident accident and I was physically unable to sign, giving her permission to cash my checks. The clerk read that last part out slower as it dawned on her that I was clearly more than able. She opened a case. For the monolithic bureaucracy that was the government, they move pretty fast when someone's stealing money from them. Turns out when they went to investigate, she had already skipped the town. They issue warrants for her arrest and she is on the run. So this was 10 years ago. So evidently, my brother found out that not only I am doing great, I am very successful. I recently left the service and I am starting an even more exciting job. So he told mom and she came crawling out of the woodworks via Facebook for money for a doctor. But I told her her prison gives free medical care and it felt good. Turns out when my aunts, her sisters who lived in another state, found out about how she treated me, she was cut out of everyone's will, to include my grandmother. Unfortunately, we didn't get to my grandfather before she cashed in on him. So heavily in debt with no family to turn to, no way to get a job, with fraud on her record as well as selling prescription medication, and warrants out her arrest, my mother, Jabba the Hutt, is receiving hers. I got cut a check for $20,000, the amount that was garnished from my wages for what she stole from the Social Security Administration, and she now owes that much to Uncle Sam. Sorry if this is the wrong sub, but I bought it here. Edit. Holy cow, gold and silver. Thanks for the support, guys. You guys rock. Had a few questions. No, she hasn't been caught yet, but I prefer to stay as far away from her as possible, honestly. Sheesh, Reddit stories about entitled parents and family issues, that's probably the worst. Well, I'm happy that you managed to get out of there. I mean, honestly, if a parent treats you that bad, then that she shouldn't even be raising you. You should deserve better. That's another Reddit video. I mean, normally I do gaming videos, but I thought I can do some Reddit stories here and there too. Who knows, when I make a new one, I'll probably try to get back to gaming. But we'll see what happens soon, how my plans would work. Also, I've been being wrangled up in work a lot, so I'm sorry if my videos are late or can possibly be cancelled, but I'll try to keep it up. As always, we'll see each other in the next video. Auf Wiedersehen, Joy Geen, peace.